Imagine walking into your bank one day only to find your account closed. No warning, no clear reason, nothing. But now, the President of the United States is stepping in. Hello and welcome back to Today in Finance. In today's video, we'll break down why Donald Trump has issued a crackdown on some of the major banks like the JP Chase and Bank of America, what debanking really means, why banks deny any wrongdoing, and what could it all mean for regular people like you and me. Don't worry, we'll go step by step so that you can understand what's really happening without the confusing financial jargon. So without further ado, let's get right into today's video. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order targeting two of America's biggest banks, JP Chase and Bank of America. He claims that these banks have been unfairly closing accounts or denying to provide services to people based on their political or religious beliefs. Trump says that it's not just about politics, it's personal. He claims that even he, despite of being a former president and a billionaire, got rejected from these banks. This practice is called debanking, or in simple words we can say that it's when a bank cuts off your accounts or denies to serve you without any explanation. Critics argue that many banks have been quietly doing this to certain groups, including conservatives, Christians, people belonging to the gun industry, and even cryptocurrency companies. JP and Bank of America strongly deny any political bias. They say account closures are never because of personal beliefs. Instead, they're about things like missing paperwork, fraud risk, or compliance with anti-money laundering laws. For example, when JP closed an account linked to former Kansas Governor Sam Brownback's religious nonprofit, they said that it was totally because of missing documentation and not religion or politics. Bank executives also point out that big banks operate under strict federal laws. They can face huge fines if they're seen as dealing with suspicious transactions. This is the reason why they say that sometimes they have to make tough calls, even if it leads to controversy. So what does Trump's new executive order actually do? Let's break it down step by step so it's crystal clear. First, it tells the big banking regulators like the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, and the Office of the Comptroller of Currency to launch full investigations into claims of political or religious discrimination in banking. This means if someone says, "My account was closed because of my beliefs," regulators must now treat that as a serious case and dig into the details. Second, the order bans the use of something called reputational risk as a reason to deny or close accounts. In the past, this term allowed banks to walk away from customers if they thought working with them would harm the bank's public image. For example, some banks have used this argument to avoid industries like firearms, crypto, or even fossil fuels. Under the new rules, that excuse is off the table. Third, it gives regulators the power to punish banks if bias is proven. These punishments could include heavy fines, legal settlements, or consent decrees that force banks to change their practices under the government supervision. Fourth, the Treasury Department is ordered to create a formal process for restoring accounts that may have been closed unfairly. If you were debanked for reasons that can't be justified under the law, this process could get you back into the financial system. Fifth, the Justice Department will now handle these cases on a tight deadline. Trump's order says that if a case is referred to them, they have to review it quickly, potentially within 120 days, and decide whether to file charges or take other action. Finally, the order sets the stage for permanent changes in banking law. While it's just an executive order for now, it could inspire Congress to pass legislation like the proposed FIRM Act to make these rules harder to undo in the future. In short, this isn't just a warning to banks, it's a rulebook change. If enforced strictly, it could completely reshape how banks decide who they serve and make it much harder to quietly close someone's account without a clear, non-political reason. This crackdown isn't just about two banks. It's part of a larger political and financial battle. For years, industries like cryptocurrency, firearms, oil and gas, and some religious non-profits have complained of being locked out of banking services. Lawmakers have proposed bills like the Firm Act, which makes it illegal for banks to shut down accounts based on reputational concerns, and Trump's order pushes this idea forward. Where there is good news, there's always criticism. Some experts worry that this could give presidents more control over banks, blurring the line between politics and private businesses. Others say that this would make banks less able to protect themselves from risky clients. And that makes sense too, right? So what's likely to happen now? In the short term, banks will have to carefully review their internal policies on account closures. They will have to make sure that none of their decisions could be seen as politically or religiously biased. Regulators will start digging into past and present complaints on debanking, which means that the banks might be asked to provide detailed records for each case. This will definitely put extra pressure on financial institutions to document their decisions clearly and provide justifications under the new rules. To put it simply, Trump's new executive order is about making sure that no bank can deny you service based on who you are or what you believe in. Supporters say that it's about fairness and protecting free speech, while critics say that it's political theater that could backfire. Either way, the message to big banks is clear. Your reasons for closing accounts is now under the microscope. So this is all from my side for today. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you do, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more financial insights. I'll see you tomorrow with another fun yet informative video. So until next time, take care.